Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Auscast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Auscast.
Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.
Hello, John Paul.
Hello, Leon.
Hello, listeners, people out there in the world who still care about vines to this day, Vine lovers, Vine enthusiasts, maybe some Vine makers. You never know who's listening.
Oh.
Welcome to Do It for the Vine, a Vine review podcast.
A Vine appreciation podcast as well, Leon. Let's not forget to appreciate.
I personally love to appreciate a good Vine.
Well, if you don't say it like that, Leon, you're not truly appreciating the art.
No, you've got to appreciate the word appreciate.
You can't appreciate art. You need to appreciate art.
Well, welcome to Do It for the Vine, where John Paul and I say appreciate on loop.
This has derailed very quickly.
It has, which is wonderful. John Paul, before we derail further, please tell our listeners who you are.
Well, Leon's already revealed my name, which I'm a bit uncomfortable with, to be honest with you.
Sorry, Mr. X, please tell everyone who you are.
My name is Mr. X. No, I'm John Paul. I am, I don't know, just another Australian, I suppose. A dear friend of Leon. I have 2 kids and am married. So that's something interesting about me for the trivia buffs out there.
Yes, and you live approximately 500 kilometres away from me, we think.
Look, it's got to be more than that. But
it's something like that.
We'll keep you updated, dear listener, on how far away I do indeed live from Leon.
We're going to slowly inch further away each week.
Yeah, that's that. We don't want to release all the trivia in the first episode. We're going to slowly just sort of get it out there.
Got to plant it in throughout the episodes to come.
Absolutely, longevity, Leon.
Longevity. And John Paul, thanks for asking who I am. I am. I'm
sorry. As we're going to find out also throughout this podcast, is I'm not great at social interaction.
No, it's also hard because we're not looking at each other.
We aren't.
Am Leon. I am also an Australian. I am a high school teacher. I teach drama and English. I've got a partner as well, Elise, and I have a cat, Khaleesi. And I think that's what we're talking about there. I do want to touch on the fact that... Oh, and I've got another podcast called Yeah G'day.
I can hear the Wikipedia page updating already.
Yeah, I know. There's just hacking away. Do it for the Vine. I do want to touch on something that John Paul has said where he called himself my dear friend. I didn't condone those words. But they have been used out of context. But we won't get into that.
I don't need your permission. I do what I want.
No, John Paul and I have been friends for, we think, between 15, 17 years. It was we usually say 2003 was the beginning, and it's 2018. So you do the maths, because we can't.
In layman's terms, it's what you'd call too long.
Yes,
to know somebody.
Something of an eon, an eternity. Now, John Paul, a question that I hear you asking in your heart of hearts is, what is a Vine?
You know what, Leon? I have been asking that question. Funny you should say that.
I know. Funny, I think, indeed. John Paul, let me inform you of what a Vine is. A Vine was a short-form video hosting service where users could share 6-second long looping video clips. Glimpses of perfection, if you will.
Certainly.
And this whole thing was founded in 2012, snapped up by Twitter before it was even launched to the world, and then on January 24th, 2013, it was launched to the world. And it picked up followers like it was going out of fashion. Like a rolling stone picks up lots of moss, I think is the saying.
Yep.
Yes, it tracks. Okay. Now, John Paul, it's always hard to talk about this. I struggle with the next part of the history of Vine. But I think in interest of historical integrity, we have to share. I know, just everyone. On October 27, 2016, Twitter announced it would disable uploads.
Oh, typical.
We could no longer create new Vines. We could watch the old ones. In January of 2017, they launched a whole platform of archive Vines so the world could see them, but we could not create any new art. And what is a world without new art, you ask John Paul? It's a sad one.
Well, it's a world where Donald Trump is the president of America.
Oh, political in the first episode. I see what you did
I'm
there.
just going to go straight after it.
So,
I actually regret that because I have little to no knowledge or opinion about that stuff. Damn it, why did I do that?
No, it doesn't matter. So that is what a Vine is. But in terms of why we're talking about it now, I think there's two reasons, John Paul. One is because Vine compilations are still coming out to this day. It's 2018.
Oh, absolutely.
It's many years after its demise, 2 years. And a Vine compilation could come out this month. And by the end of the month, it would have 1 million views at least, I would say, if it's a good compilation. A couple of 100,000.
People are still pining or vining
good one.
after Vine.
Yes, they're vining for these Vines. And
indeed,
that to me means there's a need for this podcast to continue to feed the need of these Vine lovers.
To appreciate.
But the other reason is that when you and I get together, which is rare nowadays because it's
certainly
the distance, but when we do get together, we spend 1 to 2 hours late in the nighttime watching funny video compilations or Vine compilations. And it's just, I don't even know how we got into it. I do remember the first time we did it, we were watching them, and then next thing we'd watch 2 hours straight of a compilation. But it just seemed like the right thing for you and I to sit down and share with the world is our love of Vines.
Certainly. I think it's necessary.
Especially when assumedly anyone listening to this has a love of Vine. Now,
hopefully.
John Paul, why did we call it Do It for the Vine?
Well, Leon, I think we called it Do It for the Vine because, apart from it being a fairly common phrase tossed around on the platform, even being sort of the spark of some of these Vines with a person saying "do it for the Vine" to begin the 6-second video. We called it "Do It for the Vine," I think, because it sums up pretty well what Vine was. It was just a bunch of people just doing stuff that they thought was really funny. And I think that's a nice thing to talk about. Just people doing stuff because they think it's funny.
6 seconds of glory.
Of glory, absolutely.
Perfection, if you will. And
in
I will.
many cases.
John Paul, each week we're going to talk about a Vine. We're going to share a Vine and we're going to review it, appreciate it for our friends, for our listeners, for our enemies. And this week we're starting with one of the greats, one of the all-time iconic Vines. We're starting with what you can find by typing into YouTube is a video titled Adam Vine.
Adam Vine, indeed.
Now, Adam Vine is it's just, John Paul, you know what?
Adam Vine sounds so weird. It seems like we're describing a person. What I actually like about this Vine is that it is just known as just Adam. I really like that.
Now,
for sure.
John Paul, rather than me sit here and flap my way through a horrible descriptive explanation, can you paint me a word picture of what Adam Vine is?
Well, Leon, I can certainly try.
Do you need a lozenge?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
The scene opens with a mid-shot of a single person sitting in an office chair. The room surrounding said person is a typical teenager's room. Dark sheets on the bed, gloomy, curtains half drawn. He's sitting at a desk, and from his mouth just pours a cloud of thick vape. And it lays on the desk for a second, attempting to create some sort of graveyard fog, one might say, until in just the blink of an eye, that fog is whipped away. The single character turns to the camera and with an anguished look on his face simply says, "Adam." And that's where the scene ends.
Chilling. John Paul, chilling.
Chilling.
Your description of the story itself, the anguish, the heartbreak, the vape, chilling.
Is it because I couldn't think of a better word than character?
Possibly.
I blanked. I was like single something.
There are so many elements to this video that make it good. Number one, he's vaping. Automatically a funny vine.
Great.
Number two is the unknown character, the faceless character. Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it nondescript? We don't know. Is it an animal? Is it even human?
Who is only known as Adam? That's what's so mysterious about this unseen character.
And does Adam intentionally blow the vape fog away? Does Adam unintentionally brush past his friend, who could also be named Adam, and knock his vape away?
Absolutely.
John Paul, a lot of people say that in great art, cinema, Vine, if you will, the real action takes place outside of the frame.
Oh, certainly, Leon, and I think this is. I think that's certainly true for this Vine. There are so many questions left in our minds after we leave the cinema or our computer or phone or whatever.
The cinema
we
that
walk
plays
away
Vines.
from it. Certainly, we leave it with more questions than when we went in, and that desire for success from the character that we see on screen, just that success being whipped away from him, and the anguished look on his face when he looks back at the camera. It's not a Vine you'll soon forget.
No. Every night when I go to sleep and I close my eyes, I see the face of this anguished man. And the thing is, John Paul, is that the way that he looks down the lens of the camera, straight down the barrel into the eyes of the viewer, breaking the fourth wall. Am I Adam? Am I Adam?
That's right, Leon. Are you Adam? I often go to bed thinking at night, my most horrific view of this Adam character is actually just you.
Oh, not yourself? No, it's me. I'm Adam?
No, it's just you.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about this, but I do like that you think about it before you go to sleep. That's nice.
Well, I guess, yeah, that is the takeaway from
That's
it.
that's the takeaway message, is that you're thinking about me. John Paul, Adam Vine. Adam for short, or Vape Vine, you could probably find it, but Adam Vine. On a scale of 1 to Vine, and let's put a number on Vine. Let's give it 10. Let's give it 10. On a scale
to avoid any confusion, let's give it 10.
On a scale of 1 to Vine, John Paul, where would you rate Adam Vine?
Oh, Leon, where would I rate Adam Vine? I mean, it's going to have to be up in the 9, the 9 area, around that, 8.5 to 9. I mean, it's just so beautifully put together, constructed. And the questions it leaves you with is nothing short of brilliant. So I'm gonna have to say a 9 out of Vine.
I like the rhyme. Oh, well, there we go again. It's a real thinker, and all good Vines are thinkers. They leave you with more questions than answers.
Certainly,
I would
World
similarly
changes.
Rate it a 9 to a 9.5. I think. Because I do remember watching this with you and both having a hearty chuckle at what is anguishing this poor young character.
Certainly.
I also enjoy that it's not overproduced, single shot, single shot. Focus, one character. It's all
Very
you
simple.
need in a Vine.
Certainly, yeah.
Well, John Paul, I think that brings us to the end of the first episode of Do It for the Vine.
I think it does.
There'll be many more to come, and there'll be social media information to come with it. So, John Paul, listeners, remember, wherever you are, whatever you do,
just do it for that vine.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Auscast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Auscast.
Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.